Are Republicans getting closer to a smoking gun?
It feels like it, Leland. And look, this discovery that former Vice President Biden may well have been sending out emails and having communications using a pseudonym really just raises the whole level of intrigue here. I mean, it's not exactly James Bond level stuff, but it does beg the question of why on earth a sitting Vice President of the United States would be emailing under a pseudonym. All I can say is if there is a trove of emails out there from the mysterious Mr. Peters, I will wager that they are going to be a lot more interesting than the emails sent from regular old Joe Biden.
It reminds me of Andy Card, the chief of staff during the Bush administration you served in. 3 email responses, yes, no, and see me. Other than that, you can get in trouble for what's in email. But look, how much of this goes to state of mind, right? We started off the program by saying you don't use a fake name if everything is on the up and up, right? If you're not doing something wrong, you don't need to use a fake name. Does this go to, even from a criminal standpoint, conscious of guilt, if you will?
Absolutely. I think that's the first thing a prosecutor would latch onto is the fact that Joe Biden apparently saw fit to use a pseudonym and effectively camouflage and conceal his communications would reflect a consciousness of guilt. It's self-evident. The reason why you would communicate under a fake name is because you don't want anybody to attribute those communications to you. So yes, it definitely raises suspicious eyebrows as to why he was doing this, what he said. And it's also somewhat ironic that if he thought he was being secret or was going to keep these communications out of the public spotlight, that they're now today housed at the National Archives, for goodness sake, where a congressman can get them just by making a request.
Right, and it was interesting enough that he did all this, but used what's called a .gov email address. It was a government email server that he used, but used it under this other name. And this, right, could shed a lot of light on what was said and what was said to Hunter, about Hunter, what Hunter asked Robert Peters to do, and the like. Republicans keep saying, the Biden crime family, that they have this idea of a quid pro quo, and we can all agree that the vice president's son making millions, not because of his business acumen, but because his last name is unsavory, it's wrong, it's all these things, dare I say, un-American, or maybe very American. Maybe that's the problem. But anyway, what is it that Republicans need to prove that this wasn't just Hunter Biden selling the idea of influence, but selling actual influence that would become criminal?
Well, they need evidence that links Biden, Joe Biden, to Hunter's business activities. They need to show that Joe Biden used the prestige and the power of his office to advance his son's private business interests. And look, that doesn't have to be something as, over the top and heavy-handed as, demanding a prosecutor be fired, although it could. But it also could involve things just, as seemingly harmless as him sitting in on phone calls and weighing in and announcing his presence as a way of signaling that the vice president was supporting his son in his business dealings and that his son could draw upon the vice president of the United States to help advance his business interests. It's yet another reason that people in Ukraine and elsewhere would want to hire Hunter Biden. Lord knows they weren't doing it for his business acumen. They were doing it because of his connections. And that's what Congress is looking to see, if they can find an actual use of that connection on the part of the vice president.
Right. And look, the vice president for a long time, his story's slightly changing, but for a long time basically said, to your point, I had nothing to do with this. I was never on the phone. I was never involved. I was never helping Hunter. Take a listen to some of the things he said.
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. He's a grown man, and it turns out he did not do a single thing wrong.
So all 3 of those things have been proven untrue. Lying as a politician, of course, is not a crime. But I ask you this. Based on what you said that we need for the possibility of criminal charges, we're almost there, are we not?
Yes, I don't think we are that far away from it. And the fact that the White House's narrative has had to shift almost on a daily basis to account for all the evidence that has been coming out drip, 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 day after day. I mean, look, now if all these emails come out showing that Biden was actually conducting business under the pseudonym of Mr. Peters, I mean, I honest to God, I suspect the White House's next argument is going to be, it wasn't Vice President Biden doing all this. It was this Mr. Peters fellow who was doing it. I mean, that's the direction we've been heading in, where every day it's a new story story to account and explain for all this damning evidence that keeps coming out.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.